This is 40K Today. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the Art of War podcast. Or Forge the Narrative. Or maybe it's Alfarius. No, it's 40K Today. Or is it?
Hiya folks, and welcome to 40K Today. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes or so covering so much of what's going on all over the world in the hobby of Warhammer 40,000. Today is Thursday, the 30th of July. I'm Steve Joel, and today on the show, we talk to Nick Nanavati from The Art of War about coaching, about 9th edition, and I know there are plenty of you waiting for today's juicy, delicious code word that gets you extra entries into our competition. So Nick will have that for you too a little later on. Next up, we hear about a tournament with a difference. It's called Board Room Brawl, and it's kicking off this weekend in Grand Forks, British Columbia. There are a few unique things about this tournament, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. First, though, we have a poll question up on our Facebook page right now asking, which half of the Indomitus box are you most excited about getting your hands on? We also want you to let us know in the comments if you split it with a friend or started a new faction, any of the stories that go with this box. For example, Logan says on Facebook, I was pretty excited about both sides, so I bought my box, then last minute got to split a box with a guy from my FLGS and got the Marines, so I'm excited about double Marine halves. And Andy has commented, my friend and I each got a box. He got the SM, I got my robot boys. Yeah, there's a lot of splitting going on with friends, right, all over the world. So we'd love to hear from you. Get on the poll right now on Facebook. Just search 40K Today. Before we rock into our first feature, a couple of recommendations real quick. If, like me, you're finding just the sheer volume of new stuff hard to get your head around, Mark from the Battlehosts podcast has done a series dedicated to the rules changes for 9th. He's done it phase by phase in mini episodes, as well as covering terrain and missions. And honestly, it all becomes a lot clearer just listening to his podcast. He and his team have done a great job. Also, Tabletop Titans series of videos is just fantastic. Adrian and Brian live stream games and playing guides. And I know we've featured them on the show before, but I can't recommend them enough. The fact that there is live chat along with every game and every episode means that they're able to catch mistakes when they happen, and they're both such good players. They talk us through what it is they're doing and why they're doing it. It's a great learning tool for 9th. I recommend it. Okay, get excited, Canada. There's a tournament this weekend. It's in Grand Forks, British Columbia, and has at least a couple of celebrities playing. Art of War coach Alex McDougall will be there, and so will our very own Tanya Gates. Tanya spoke to T.O. Scott about the tournament and what makes it unique.
I'm here with Scott today, and you run one of the most talked about tournaments in my local area, so I'm so excited to have you here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Excited to be here.
So the tournament that we're talking about is called Board Room Brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been running this event?
This is our third annual, and one thing that's nice about it, as opposed to maybe some other events, is that it's going to be the same time every year. So if you want to have a fun tournament, August long weekend, that's us every year, and this is our third year running, and we continue to plan on putting it on in years to come.
Awesome. So there are a few things that make your particular event unique when you compare them to other tournaments. I thought maybe you could sort of run us through those things.
Absolutely. So when you come to our tournament, probably one of the first things you'll notice is, well, besides the height difference between myself and my other partner who runs the boardroom, who's also named Scott, who also runs the Boardroom Brawl. Scott, and Gina are people who run it. And aside from noticing that, you'll notice our boards, and they are wildly different than your standard ITC boards. Some of them have massive height differences on some of the boards. Some of them have huge obstacles. Some of them have been lovingly handcrafted, and some of them have had things like Warhound Titans crashed into a snowy battlefield, and they're all highly thematic. So one thing that first of all will grab you is the boards. You'll look at them and go, wow, every board tells a story, and no two boards will play the same. That's a guarantee. The other thing is you're going to have to play both the board and your opponent. It won't if you come into a tournament expecting, hey, all the boards will have 2 big line of sight blockers, 3 small pieces of area terrain, and maybe 1 or 2 ruins. You won't see that on our boards. That being said, we've done some work to make them not symmetrical, but what we will call balanced. And we take a lot of time and effort to try to make sure each board has an element of balance to it, even if it's not readily present, like readily obvious to you. A lot of them we do a lot of practice play testing on, and find, yeah, if it's not the same, but it doesn't impact you negatively, we can throw it in there. So that's part one that you'll notice. The second part is our tournament is what I call fun first. And it's a community event. One of the big things that we do is a lot of times you go to a tournament and you end up after day one, you're kind of beat and you go back to your apartment. Maybe there's a couple people you came with, and maybe a couple of you go out for maybe drinks with your small group. One thing we do differently is at the end of day one, we have a huge barbecue where everyone who purchases a ticket, it's part of your ticket, gets you into this barbecue, and everyone's there, and it's a huge a group that's like it's got a good fun feeling to it. And it's going to be a little different this year with COVID because we've got to do some separating pieces, but I still think we've taken a lot of efforts to make sure that it's still safe while still being that inclusive community feel. And the biggest prize that you walk away with every year, the person who walks away with the biggest prize isn't the best overall, isn't the anything, it's the sportsmanship guy. It's the
Oh,
person,
nice.
yeah. So if you're the funnest person to be with and be around at that tournament, you're the winner because you met the goals of the tournament. The goals were come out, have fun, and if you're meeting those goals, people are going to recognize it, and you'll be rewarded for it.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you think, because we are I'm going to this one and I'm super
Yeah.
excited, but we are playing ninth edition rules.
Yes.
How do you think that the new terrain rules are going to work on these thematic thematic boards?
Yeah. So we've gone through a lot of effort to, first of all, reduce the size. So we are playing on the new ninth edition size boards, which finding ways to maneuver and manipulate our hard boards, because some of the boards are like built right into the board, like they're cut out of foam. We've done work on the actual physical board that you play on. It's not like a mat with terrain placed on it. It's a hard board that's been carved out. That's been a challenge. But we're going to have it so most of the terrain rules are represented on almost every board. Some boards have more of one type than another. And what we've done to try to make it really user friendly for new players coming in at ninth is we're going to have a picture of the board and then have all of the terrain labeled and tell you what all of the terrain features each piece has, so that no one has any questions when they come to the board about, well, does that count as area? Does that count as dense cover? Does that count as light cover or heavy cover? It'll be very clearly laid out. In addition, because again, we try to be beginner friendly as well as fun first, we're giving everybody, as part of their tournament package, a set of cards, and on those cards are all of the terrain keyword rules. So if you're like, oh, I'm about to jump into this terrain, but I don't remember what, let's say, I don't remember what defensible means. You can just flip over to your card that says defensible. You go, oh, right, that's the one that gives me bonuses to my Overwatch or fighting in combat. Boom, you got it
That's
right there for you.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, just one last note, was there anything else that you wanted to let our listeners know about?
Yeah, if you are looking for a fun tournament, you should come out to this. Again, we are beginner friendly. We had this year, we got huge support from Creature Caster. They've just got a massive prize pool that people are coming out to again walk away with something big. Just about what will I say? Half the field probably is going to walk away with a prize that's more in value than the ticket they paid, and that's not including coming to an awesome event, getting some meals served to you, and having an excellent time at the barbecue, which just ends up being a blast. So huge shout out to Creature Caster. Thank you very much for all your support this year. Thank you very much to the Boardroom Cafe. And what was that? Oh yeah, and one of the surprises this year is we've got a a feature board for Creature Caster that when you come out, you're going to want to have your cameras ready because it's going to look pretty good. Yeah.
I'm so excited about that. Thanks so much for coming on the show. You have me so stoked for the August long weekend, and I
Awesome.
can't wait to meet you in person.
Likewise. Thank you very much, Tanya. I hope to meet you in person too. Hope you have a blast.
Thank you.
That's Tanya Gates turning to Board Room Brawl TO Scott de Winter Wilkie. We want to make sure that we also pass on Scott and his team have gone to extraordinary lengths to make the tournament safe. They have gone above and beyond with distancing and masks and sanitizing and every other possible measure to make sure that people who play and officiate are going to be okay. So good luck to everyone, especially Tanya. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Next up in the show, Nick Nanavati from Art of War joins us to talk ninth and coaching and winning big stuff.
Today's episode of 40K Today is brought to you by Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming is a one-stop shop for all your Warhammer hobby needs, discounted products, American-made gaming mats and terrain, and a full line of miniatures painting service and daily hobby content. And this can all be found at frontlinegaming.org.
Welcome back. Nick Nanavati is one of the most accomplished players in competitive 40K in the world. And he makes a living nowadays out of helping other people get better at the game too. Folks in his team at Art of War have been playtesting for G-Dub in the development of new 40K. So there's probably no one better placed to give us a heads up on what ninth is likely to look like as it gets underway. John Damaris caught up with him about the new edition and coaching 40K.
Nick, my good friend, welcome back to 40K Today. We're super excited to have you here today. Let's talk about this contest that we're doing for people who somehow have missed this. We are giving away $1,500 in Games Workshop product, and all you have to do is enter your email address at 40kprizes.com. And one of the reasons why we're able to do that is the Art of War coaching service has ponied up dollars in support of this contest. So first, thank you for that. And second, let's talk to people about maybe if they're confused what the Art of War coaching service is all about and what are the benefits. Let's just go through some of that.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me, as always, John. But the Art of War coaching service is basically a collection of some of the best players in 40K, myself, Richard Siegler, Brad Chester, TJ Lanigan, and so many more. And we are exactly that, your 40K coaches. So we help you in a variety of ways. We help you identify your play style. We help pick what armies make sense for you to play, help you learn what armies you're interested in, all that kind of stuff. And more specifically, we help you by writing lists, having phone consultations, reviewing your games, all that kind of stuff, as well as teaching tons of online classes. So one thing you'll get access to as a potential winner of this contest is access to the War Room, where we teach 7 classes per week on various factions like Space Marines, Imperium, Chaos, Eldar, Xenos, and just general 40K strategy sessions. We do weekly coaching games where every week we will sit down and do a live stream game to our members. But in addition to just playing the game, we explain everything in a lot of detail. So everything we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, everything we're not doing as well, and why we're not doing it, kind of giving you the full breakdown of all the things that go through our head, how we make decisions, how we view the table, how do top players tick on that level. In addition to that, you get an awesome community of people who are all paying to be there for the most part. So they're not trolls, they're not jerks, they're not trying to ruin your day. They're just trying to get better too. And it's all very supportive, along with having access to the best 40K players on the planet literally at your fingertips. So you can ask them whatever questions you want and they do answer.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because I don't know, maybe some people don't know that that's how you and I met before the Art of War podcast, right? I was a coaching client of yours because I'd come from War Machine and Hordes, where I was a very successful player for a long time. And, I'm just older and I have more money than time. So I invested my money in saving me some time, right? And that's what coaching does for anybody. So for anybody that has a hobby, you go to a golf coach to help with your golf swing, a tennis coach to help with your tennis swing, and there's coaches for every walk of life. You can get music coaches, singing coaches, weight loss coaches, life coaches. There's a lot of people that have a lot of expertise that can basically shortcut your learning process. And that's what the Art of War is for 40K. So if you want to get better in a quicker amount of time and more efficiently, then you just pay a little bit of money for some coaching. And I think that's a pretty standard thing in America. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I always say no one gets good at 40K by themselves. I mean, it's a 2-person game. I don't know why you would try, but you can't just sit there, read the books, and have all the knowledge amassed. There's so many ideas. you fall into like the mentalities where your ideas are the only ones you can really see. You need to have other people giving you different perspectives and teaching you the ropes. It is such a vastly complex game that you do need that assistance. And a lot of people, you don't have to pay for it, but if you don't get that quality assurance that you are getting coached by one of the best players in the world, who knows what kind of quality of advice you're going for, or if the other person you knows what they're talking about or anything. So when you do sign up for that Art of War coaching, you get the assurance that this is the real deal. You know what you're getting. It's good quality stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things is, I will say, as a customer, I believe in it. I use the service, right, and it's been great for me, and it's helped me become a pretty reasonable player. I mean, I'm not a top-notch player by any means, but I hold my own, and I'm competent. The other part of that is, I think doing the Art of War podcast actually helps me quite a bit on that regard too. So I think if any of you are on the fence about coaching, like, it doesn't hurt you to try it. Like, join the War Room and just see what's there. And if you get good value out of it, hang around for a while. And if not, you can always cancel your subscription at any time. So
it is month to month, so no strings attached. You sign up, it's not for you. Oh well, it costs you less than a box of 40K stuff, and you're out of there. Or you enjoy it, you learn a lot, and everyone's happy.
Exactly. And as a matter of fact, I don't know, I don't want to out a lot of people, but that's how I met Steve Joel. He's actually a 40K coaching client of yours, right?
Absolutely.
Or actually probably Siegler at this point, but if I were to guess, which I have no knowledge, but I'm just guessing, knowing Steve. And him, like me, we both wanted to get better. And then he just sort of reached out and said that he worked in radio, and he helped make the Art of War podcast better. And then he and I got to talking, and that's how 40K Today got started. So it's pretty fun how many connections you make through that with like-minded people who have similar goals, like, which is just to get better at 40K. It's not necessarily to, win everything or be the best player in the world. Some people may have that goal, but that wasn't my goal. I don't think it was Steve's goal either. But you can engage with the content, and it's pretty effective. Like, you do shortcut your learning progress. So I don't want to oversell it too much, but again, it's something where a lot of people probably haven't considered coaching for 40K. But we do it literally in all aspects of our lives, especially our hobbies. We do it all the time, right? So
absolutely right. So if you are interested in that stuff, you can win your free coaching. You can get up to 3 months with yours truly, where I will help you identify your army, your playstyle, work on your list, and kind of evolve it with you over time. Or you can get access to War Room depending on what you win in this contest. If you are unfortunate and not one of the wonderful winners who win Art of War stuff, you can check out the artofwar40k.com and sign up for coaching that way. Right now, we're doing a July super sale for 9th edition. I guess there's not too many days left in July, but there will be a couple when this episode airs. So if you sign up for coaching right now, if you sign up for the War Room right now, you will get a free personal call with one of our many coaches, as well as access to all the classes we teach and the games we play. And then finally, we are running a tabletop simulator league starting up August 8th for War Room members only, and you get to participate in that. So now's the perfect time, literally the perfect time to sign up for the War Room. So go ahead and do that.
As has become tradition, we have to set up a code word for people to get 5 entries in the contest. So for just listening to this interview, you get 5 entries. Nick, what code word would you like to use?
Let's do AOW. Does that count as a word?
AOW. Easy enough. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
No problem, John.
There's John Damaris with Nick Nanavati. If you want to find out more about Art of War, check the link in our show notes. Okay, folks, it is that time of the day.
It's the model of the day, the model of the day, the model of the day.
Yeah, let's do this. Today's model comes to us from Stiff Neck Studios, and it is the biggest, baddest boy in the Tau Empire, the mighty Tau Nar, which, people smarter than me, Richard Siegler and Brian Pullen, are saying is going to be legit on the tabletop in 9th for its points. This one is painted in the Sicilian blue that Space Wolf players will know and love. It has black panels and green glowing fusion effects and stunning lighting. The beast looks super powerful too, with the addition of amazing blackened barrels. You know the effect that people do a barrel burn? Well, they've done an amazing job here. From all the blasting, I imagine. It's a magnificent model. It's painted perfectly. The link is in our show notes if you want to see it. We've got pictures also on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. And as a Tau player, if I ever get a Tau Nar, I want it to be that one. If you have a model of the day, let us know, or just use the hashtag 40K today and we will catch it. And that's it for today. Thanks again for joining us. A big thank you to our content producer, Alex Bader, our social media legend, Tanya Gates, our technical producer, Seamus Ronan, for all their hard work in putting the program together. If you like the show, maybe you want to get on over to Facebook, give us a like, share what we're doing, let your friends know who play 40K. I'm sure they'd love this too. Same for Instagram. And if you feel like dropping a review on iTunes, that would really help us out a lot. We'd appreciate that. Tune in tomorrow for a power-packed Friday episode featuring a coaching tip that helps you get started in ninth. And don't forget to enter our big 40K giveaway. Today's code word, thanks to Nick, is AOW. Catch you tomorrow. Until then, for John and Paul and the rest of the team, I'm Steve John, and that's what's happening in 40K today.